Hello, and welcome back to my channel. Today's go by, and I am running out of ideas. I was gonna do something, I just completely forgot. Right. So, today's a simple but not difficult topic, I guess you could say, depending on how I word it. I think it's time I talked about something I guess you would say passionate about. No warning for those who are tuning in. This is going to be a religious video. So yeah. Something that I like to at least think about on a daily basis is whether someone's claiming God and following his ways, or they say to claim God but never follow his ways. There's the false prophets, and the prophets, right? We all know our fair share of false prophets. They exist. They've existed throughout time in the Old Testament, New Testament, and even nowadays. The people who claim to be able to tell the future. People who say God will be flooding the earth again, and on this month, on this day, people who are like, the day of the rapture is here. The day of retribution is here. It's time for you all to pray. Like, it'll happen on this day, on this month, even though it's been said multiple times that if a day like that would come, there wouldn't be much of a, like, countdown to it, you know? It could happen at any time. It could happen now. It could happen 5 days from now, 5 years, decades, you know, so on and so forth. I'm here to basically, how do I say this? I'm here to tell you the difference between a person who claims God and a person who actually believes and follows his word. Now, I am not a professional when it comes to religion. If you actively want someone to, like, phrase or say things better than I do, you're gonna have to look for someone else, cause yeah. So, yeah. So, for one, we'll talk about things you can do to tell apart between the fakes and the reals. Now, people who say they believe in God are mostly known for doing blasphemous things. For an example, they'll ask you for money and say that, because there's a difference between a church and a church and a manipulative church. You see, there's a difference between wanting to donate and being forced to donate. You see, People who claim God usually use the tactic of, God told me if you don't give me money, you'll be sent straight down to the deepest, darkest abyss. That's not how it works. Donating money doesn't show your faith. You can do it out of faith, yes. But if someone's actively forcing you to donate and saying, well, if you donate, that's just sinful or wrong, that's not the case. Because it's okay to donate, but it's okay not to donate. While Jesus talks about donating, most people will take advantage of that and either use the money for themselves or for their own habits. They'll be asking money for the needy, but most of the needy are them. They are the needy. They are the greedy. Now, while they're very hard to tell whether someone's really needs the money or wants to donate money or something like that, it's very easy in the way they speak. A true man of religion would not press you. He would ask, just for an example, would you like to give money to the poor? If you have any extra money, would you like to give any to the poor or to the needy or to the hungry or to the church itself? No? Alright, have a good day. That's it. That's really it. But again, some can be manipulative. The only way to truly know is how they answer that question. I guess another way you can also tell is just the fact of their character in general. Now, while it's very hard to tell whether someone actually needs the money or not, you yourself aren't mandated to donate to a church. You can donate to the homeless yourself. You can just say, I don't trust you with my money, so I'll donate it myself to the homeless. Obviously, that comes with its own set of problems, but that's not the point. We're calling out the fakers. Many people who say they claim God, they claim Jesus, they will always, they'll never follow the word of the Bible. For one, they're known for being very easy to anger. While, yes, we religious people do have our problems and we all sin, but we don't go out of our way to look at someone who sins and just, tell them how much of a terrible person they are, because deep down everyone sins. No one's perfect except for our Lord Jesus Christ. No one's perfect. No one's supposed to be perfect. But you can try. You can do your best, and that's what religion is about. Your faith, doing your best. Another way you can tell them apart is just they're not very kind. They don't hide it very well. They don't. Now, well, yes, I would agree with, like, some Christians are, or just some religious people are, like, quick to anger. Not everyone's perfect, but at the same time, there's a difference, right? Like I have anger issues. That's like one of my main things. I have anger issues. But a person of religious will at least try to hold themselves back from being angry. Like, it's like how do I say it? It's like it's like a shy person, right? Like when they go to talk, but they like stammer, right? That's basically what happens, where they're like, but, like, again, we all have our issues, and that's fine. But most people of religion basically just try their best not to be angry. And when they are angry for a reason. And some of those reasons are not justified, others are. If you're ever going to be angry, was it religiously angry? Rightfully angry? Like, for an example, there's a difference between being angry at someone for not believing in God and being angry at someone for doing something, like, purely evil. Those are two different, like, scenarios, right? While I feel most Christians are... I try my best not to, like, focus on one religion specifically, especially the one I'm a part of. I'm not trying to, like, put everyone in a box, because everyone has these problems, right? But I guess when it comes to, like, I'll say this. It's very difficult to tell the outliers from them, because, like, again, most people are angry for no reason. Most, like, people of religion are angry for no reason and, like, take their anger out on people of non-religion or of their own religion. When actually, yeah, here's a good one. You will always see, I don't know if this is just me, you will always see people of religion not a part of politics. Most churches, like, I am of the firm belief of, like, when it comes to, like, religion and churches, they should just stay out of politics in general, because it's, like, you gotta understand, by the time Jesus was alive, and in the New Testament, Old Testament, God and Jesus never go into politics at all. They never talk about it. The only time they talk about anything political is Julius Caesar, and that's just Jesus answering a simple question where it's like, where the Pharisees just walk up to him and like, "Hey, what do you think about Caesar, huh? Huh?" Answer the question in a wrongful way, so that way we can get you imprisoned. And Jesus was like, "What do you think about Jesus? What do you think about Julius's taxes? Give to Julius." This is a quote from Jesus. "Give to Julius what is his, and give to God what is God's." Fire, straight bars. It's like, right, like, your religion should never, like, no matter what your religion is, your religion should not, like, be the reason you're in a certain, like, political party. That's all I'll say. I won't get into politics. Even though, yeah. I'm here to talk about false believers, alright? most false believers won't spread the gospel. Or at least when they do, they spread it in an angry way and never spread it with love. There's a reason why there's a quote such as, there's no hate like Christian love or like religious love. Which is, yeah, because most people of religion are known, because of the bad apples, are known for, well, being angry all the time and just flat out attacking people for not believing in their religion. I don't know what else to talk about. When it comes to like religion and stuff, right? The fakes, while very hard to tell apart, there's always signs. Anger's always one. For two, they are known for twisting God's word in such a way where it makes them be in the right. They ignore the word of Jesus. They ignore the teachings of spreading kindness, bearing good fruit. They think they're righteous for being said faith from the moment they're born. They think that they can't sin because they're faith. They were born in faith, therefore they don't need to pray. They don't need to ask for forgiveness. They don't need to, They're known for being a lot more I like to say there's a lot more good apples than bad, but that's untrue. That's very untrue. And it sucks, right? Because, like, it's always the bad apples who are used as an example of, like, how people are in general, or how people of that certain type, architect type are like, all Catholics are hateful and think everything that's fun is demonic, or like everyone thinks Christians are angry all the time and just like to attack people for no reason. Atheists are people who go out of their way to rage bait, who go out of their way to like disrespect someone or bully someone for their religion, when most of those people aren't like that. No one's like that. Only a certain amount of people. But I always found it weird that the bad apples were always used as a like way to show how these people actually are, and that's just the horrible way of like, because atheists can be chill, Catholics can be chill, Christians can be chill. Heck, you could have like a triple. You could have the Christians, Catholics, Muslims, atheists. They can all be friends. It's happened before. It can happen again. It doesn't matter what kind of religion you are. It doesn't matter about your beliefs. You can all still get along here and there. It's just these bad apples, and I don't like it. But again, you see, there's a pattern, right? No matter where you look in religion, even though it's something that's you're told spreads kindness, love, equality, love everyone, love love thy neighbor as much as you love thyself. Do others to what you want done to you. Spread the gospel, spread kindness, spread the word of God, spread love, spread religion, spread anything really. But they never listen. They always spread hate, and that's something like the Old Testament and New Testament even talk about it. Again, that people like that do exist and will always exist, and that just kind of sucks. But I always found it interesting. Well, not interesting. I always found it like kind of horrible that like all these bad apples are used to like show how like as an example, like they're put on a pedestal to show and basically tell you, see that person, everyone from that place is exactly like that. While in most cases wrong, others right. It still kind of sucks, right? That when it comes to religion, no one actually is religious except for the few people, but it's so few where it's like, and the very few are driven away from the people who claim God and just do everything they can. Here's a quote for you. A Christian, actually no, a person of religious will always take another religious person out of that religious more than an atheist. A religious person can convince another religious person to stop being religious more than any atheist can. Religious people drive away religious people more than any atheist can. That blows my mind. The amount of religious people who became atheists, not because another person convinced them to, not because they didn't feel God's presence, but because, in most cases, people of their same religion attacked them, bullied them, judged them for their sins, and ignored their own, screamed at them, spreaded hate. And that sucks. See, this is why I don't like doing these talks, because I get on side tangents, right? Alright. Another way to tell like false believers, right? They'll say they themselves got a message from God that tells them about the end times. You see, for one, a flood is never gonna happen because God promised Noah that he wouldn't, first of all. Second of all, you gotta understand something, right? God hasn't done anything for over eons. The most before like hateful atheist, not atheist, hateful atheist, completely different. Come attacking me like you see, how can an all loving God exist if he's done nothing? You see, you say God has done a lot of things. He's done a lot of miracles. He's given me a lot of miracles. He's accompanied me my whole entire life. He's mostly the reason why I'm here. But he himself has not tampered with humanity for eons. He hasn't spoke to humans in a long time. Ever since, like, the last prophet, Jesus, died, there wasn't really that much from God anymore. From what I remember, at least. And again, I could read, like, from the last entry from the Bible, that's it, right? Because you gotta understand, Old Testament God and New Testament God, both of them the same person, messed with humanity a lot, right? But you gotta understand, right? It's been years. And in the Old Testament, God flooded either the earth or just a part of the earth and evaporated a city. Both of them were because of sinful things. Now, you gotta understand, right? If how do I word this without, like, giving too much away about, like, my thoughts on something? If a city and a part of the earth were sinful enough for God to be like, I will handle it myself, for it to be so bad to the point where instead of God being like, he's gonna send someone like Moses or someone like John the Baptist to, like, talk to them or, like, tell them to stop doing this and that and this and that, he decided enough was enough. People were so sinful that God not only flooded the earth, but evaporated the city as well. I forget the name of the city. I just remember in the story, like, the angel was like, do not turn back to the city of sin. And then it was like, and then the wife of the guy was like, okay, I'm going to turn around. And turned into stone. That's all I remember. And look at things now. I don't think things can be as bad as they are now. Anywho, that's not the point. My point being, God only participates through miracles. I don't think he has ever. I don't think he's here with us, but he's not done much. By much, I mean what he did back in the Old Testament or in the New Testament. He's, of course, done miracles. He's helped people mentally and physically, but he hasn't, like, fully interfered with humanity in a big way, like a really big way, like flooding the earth or evaporating a city or making his people go free from the Egyptians or, like, anything like that. I don't think, especially, I think the last, I think people are right in the way which they say that Jesus was the last ever prophet, where it's like, well, he was God, but you know what I mean, like, people having dreams of, like, seeing the future, of, like, God trying to tell them something, it's less and less occurring, which is basically what I'm trying to say, right? So the chances that the first thing God says is not tell humanity to turn away from sin. It's not, Anthony, my boy, you've done this that changed your life. It's not, blankety blank blank blank, go spread the gospel. It's not like a dream of, like, what it's like to be in heaven or, like, anything like that. No, it's immediately Armageddon. There's usually warnings. There's usually signs of, like, of that. Because, like, before the city was evaporated, it was warned multiple times. God sent angels there to see if maybe there were a couple people, enough people for God to be like, okay, you know what? You're right. I won't evaporate the city. And again, it is stated multiple times that if something like the rapture would happen, or an Armageddon of some sorts, there will be no date. There will be no specified time. Right. Another way you'll tell is from the way they talk. A lot of religious people will avoid to say the Lord's name in vain. I do that a lot. I try my best not to. You know, it's like, oh my, uh, 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 I, you know, like, I try my best not to, you know? Like, I get close to, I try my best not to. People who claim God are known for saying his name in vain. Matter of fact, they do it all the time. Now, you can say the word God. You can. It's just the way you say it. You can't say it in a disrespectful way. You can't say it often. You can't say it too often because then it loses meaning. It's supposed to have meaning. It's like, you can't just... Because when talking about God, you have to have your chest out. You gotta, like, heart out into the word. For it has to have meaning, basically. To use it in like a jovial manner, like in a conversation, like, oh my, you know, it's like, it makes it lose its meaning, basically. It's supposed to be a word of respect, right? You're supposed to respect the word, basically. Because by respecting the word, you're respecting God. Another thing you'll see from them, while this isn't very common, it still happens. They are known for what was it? They are known for completely ignoring the words of Jesus. For example, one I can pull up right now is treat everyone with kindness. They will ignore that and just do whatever they want. Again, there's all like different ways. Like if you yourself think I'm doing this completely how do you say this wrong, I'm sorry. I'm not a professional. I'm not. I really am not. I'm speaking from religious, like, I'm speaking from emotion. I'm speaking like, I'm not speaking from like experience. I'm speaking from like my heart, right? And my like the way you should and the way you do. You know, like if you want someone more professional, who could I recommend? Well, it depends on your kind of religion, I guess. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'll end the video with that. I'm not really a professional, so which is why I will recommend a lot of professional channels, or just in general professional people that are better than me when it comes to talking about religion and when it comes to like talking about anything in general, right? And if you have any questions as well, For one, if you want a YouTuber here, the only YouTuber I know of is one, which is weird, right? I only know one. They go by what's the name? At Cheese Sticker. At Cheese Stick. At symbol CHESESTICKER question mark. If you can if you can't find that, just look up reading to you the whole entire Bible, or like anything he's famous for. Another one, most of these are going to be TikTokers. Another one I'll recommend is more for like, I guess, actually Christians who are, I don't know what he is either. A TikToker by the name of Realism. Go. I don't know what his actual page is. I don't know. If I can figure out how to put the name, like channels in the description, I would, but I don't know how to do that. So you're gonna have to bear with me. Obviously, there's other religious TikTokers and YouTubers that I just don't know about, but those are the two I recommend. They are known for their talks of religion. However, if you are Catholic or of any other Christian branch, I do not know who to recommend. After all my years of formally being a Catholic, I could never find a Catholic YouTuber. So, also, yes, I used to be a Catholic. I am now a Christian. Before you ask, God Almighty gave me like a sign to be like, okay, you're now Christian. And before you say, wait, didn't you just talk about the fact this is different, right? This was a sign, not him going into my dreams and being like, Anthony, become Christian. You know, look, because I prayed for it, right? Because I was getting a lot of stuff about like Christianism and stuff like that, and it's like, God, is this a sign for me to become Christian? If you want me to be a Christian instead of a Catholic, give me a sign. It's like, all right, bet, you know, like that. Anywho, not the. I'll see you whenever I wake up from my hibernation. Have a wonderful evening, afternoon, night, day, morning. Peace.